Testing, testing.
Testing, testing.
How you doing, Tim? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah, I think everything is working now.
Game number one, obviously.
Yeah, early scratch from FSR and an early miss from BAOANAN.
Yeah, I apologize. I had a few technical errors.
Definitely has the roll-up available on the 6 ball. Snuggle the cue ball behind the 6.
Did you happen to see the match last night with Al-Kaidi and FSR?
I did not, actually.
Okay. FSR really hit another gear, played very, very well. He was trailing 4-0.
Well, he also played a really good match earlier on the TV table against Koping Han, I believe. So I'm not surprised.
Yes, so we are in the final 8. This is a race to 11. Win or break. There is a shot clock.
Yeah, I have to say, pretty big opportunity missed by Michael there, actually. He had a pretty decent layout. So it's all up to FSR to get the stroke out.
Yeah, he takes game number 1. Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's really seemed like in the last few weeks his game has stepped up. I was talking to him on the phone. I'm talking about FSR, and he said something's just snapped with him where, a couple of years ago he had that great streak, almost unheard of. But he said he's found something mentally that he's really, really comfortable with and just kind of found that zone which we've all been in or understand. So it looks like he's playing better than he has been kind of on tour. He's been a little bit up and down. Obviously, the competition's so much higher now, but he's looking real nice.
Yeah, it's always difficult as a player. You're always trying to find that one thing that works. You're always on the chase. But many players not finding it. But when you do, you're capable to do big things.
Something he's done very well is the break shot. He is the originator of the cut break going into the 9 with the cue ball.
Yeah, a bit of a funny position, actually. I don't fancy the roll up on the 5, very soft, with the cue ball that could drift left or right. So he's looking to push.
Yeah, can you bank the 2 down just kind of like right of the 9 and maybe use the 5 going in behind it? Or is it a little too thick? Yeah, he's just going to roll out.
Well, maybe he doesn't have the full ball.
Probably not.
Oh. Definitely has the shot now. Just gotta avoid the 5 ball. Yeah, not a big fan of this position. But FSR pushed, so he must have something in mind. Wow. Did play the shot Scott just mentioned, but a little bit crazy to see the 2 ball finding the gap between the 4 and the 9. So he's found the hook. Pretty all right 2-rail escape though for BAOANAN. Bit surprised he's caught that rail. First rail already. Not sure if he considered the second rail actually. This might be on for the early lead. Yeah, so the 2 ball was on. Now a bit of a longer shot. A low right spin. Draw the cue ball to the left side of the 4. And those are big shots. Quite some tension on the arm at times. But for now, looking good. Quite natural angle to run up for the 5 ball.
Yeah, Tim, I can't remember who BAOANAN played at the U.S. Open, but he really showed out up there. He played one of the best matches I've seen at the event this year, or excuse me, last year. He's full of talent.
Yeah, I do believe he got to like the quarterfinals in the US Open last year indeed.
Yeah, and I can't remember who knocked him out. I feel like it was either Filler or Federer. Neither here nor there. FSR leading 2-0. Testing, testing.
Yes. Yes, it's definitely working.
Hmm.
Yeah, so BAOANAN lost to Federgorst 10-9 actually in the quarterfinal. So imagine he was very close to making a semifinal appearance on the US Open. So it's not his first time running deep in an event like this.
I apologize, Tim. Can you hear me still?
Yes.
Dang, I don't have a mute. It's all good. He's going to have an open look. It's thin.
Yeah, I might have to skim off the 9. Maybe left side of the 9. Just got to be a little lucky not to float behind the 6, or even found the gap and held the cue ball. It's looking good right off the bat. The only thing I'm a bit curious about is the fact that he's wearing Nike flip-flops.
Yeah, he typically doesn't wear flip-flops like this, which is a little surprising.
Could be a medical issue, possibly, but this is not very common for WNT quarterfinal. Well, he's looking very comfortable there. Made that look very easy, straight draw. So looking at a 3-0 early lead. Playing like a Ferrari. Actually, one comment on YouTube kind of got me there. FSR wearing slides, trying to embrace the Filipino lifestyle. That is funny. Well, we have to find out at some point about the shoes. But for now, he's absolutely killing it at the table. 3-0 up, Scott, and looking very comfortable.
Yeah, he's looking awful sweet. He's been looking comfortable this entire tournament.
Oh, another one. Yeah, great break. Another one. Yeah, quick replay on the bump on the 9. Did get a little straight on the 2 ball. Yeah, a bit of a funny position to be in. Cue ball on the rail, quite straight on the 3 ball. Might have to drop this in and play the cut to the right middle on the 4. Unless you jack up the cue. Yeah, so he chose to drop it in. Now, Not too sure what his plan is. Definitely will be playing safe. Don't think he's on any buckets to go aggressive. Or does it go to the top right? Wow. Never thought that would pass the 7 ball. Another shot needed though. I think he's quite straight on his 5 ball once again. A lot of left spin. Ooh. Oh, friendly bump on the 7 ball. I think he should be out of trouble. Definitely wasn't trying to hit the 7, but definitely takes the outcome. Thanks everybody for tuning in on EvoSports. While we see Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, actually a very difficult rack, has been in difficult positions right after the break already. So another break around puts him 4-0 in this race to 11. Still a lot of pool to be played. We are just experiencing a bit of technical issues with Scott, so quite sure we will get them fixed for you guys very shortly. For now, you will have to do it with just me. Well, Huang, it might be a bit early to say bye, BAOANAN. I mean, we know about the players in the Philippines. They gamble quite a bit. They're not shy to come back. They're not shy to get loose. Anything can still happen. You might have jinxed it there. Oh, look at that 1 ball. Wow, a little bit of a roll. Dropping the 1 to the left, and look at the shape on the 2. Oh, absolutely cruising. I mean, definitely a demonstration of cue ball control by FSR. Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, 837 Fargo rate.
Hey, Tim, I apologize. I'm back. I had to troubleshoot a couple things. What did I miss? FSR just dominating?
Yeah, breaker running. And actually a very difficult breaker on last rack. So it's really showing me that he might not miss for a while. I mean, he's looking very solid. Now, I hope I didn't put any funny curse on him, but no, he's looking very comfortable.
Yeah, and making these 4-inch pockets look pretty favorable as well. He's got that shoulder lunge he's always implemented into his game. At times, it will sneak up and get him. I
think that's right where he wants to be, right? Just punch out 2 rails. Could draw back.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's landed absolutely perfect. Wrap the cue ball around the corner. 5-0 coming up. Now, this should be a quite close match if you consider Fargo rate 837 against a 779, 97, geez. So it's only 40 points difference, but BAOANAN just doesn't get to shoot. 5-0.
Well, it was kind of this way yesterday with Al-Kaidi at the beginning, and then look at here. Al-Kaidi took a break. Excuse me, FSR took a break, and it all changed. I don't believe Al-Kaidi won another rack after that, to be honest. Maybe he did, but maybe just one.
Well, it's definitely the Pinoy taking a break, so let us go to our sponsors for this event. Yeah, Mori Tips, one of our premium sponsors.
CPBA, the official cloth of international championships. Crafted from cutting-edge weaving technology, it defines the pinnacle of smoothness and durability. When the world-class tournaments ignite, legacy unfolds upon this stage here. Every decisive shot begins on a foundation of absolute reliability. CPBA, the choice of champions. In the name of the cloth, legends are forged.
Yeah, and Tim, let me ask you a question. So, back in my era, you probably don't know anything about that. I'm a little bit older, but back in my era, you couldn't take a break when your opponent was at the table, meaning at any time your opponent was at the table. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm just so used to it. I mean, the fact that when I was always out playing, you could really use the timeout to slow someone down purposely, which probably that's the thing that they were holding back in your era. So yeah, I just don't really know any different. I do the same thing. I mean, you're going to be able to make any ball, so you're going to try to kill the guy's momentum when you can, and that's by taking the timeout at times. So it's a bit of a strategy play, in my opinion. But in probably your era, that would have been pretty much unsportsmanlike conduct. So I think it's a bit in between, maybe a difference of eras.
No, I fully agree. Right? I actually think it's a good thing. I think Matchroom started it quite a while ago, and I think it really gives a lot of talking points, and I think it's a good thing. We've seen a lot of momentum swings with the taking a break at the opponent's time at the table.
Yeah, I think it's a very clever move for Michael actually to take the break now. It's not too far ahead in the set. And I mean, 5-0 is pretty decent to overcome, but it's still far enough to where you want to stop the guy and say, listen, you just sit in your chair for 5 minutes and we'll see if you break or run another one.
And with this, I'll tell you what, I've taken a close look at this field. It's been pretty incredible. You could almost count this as a major. I mean, I would really almost count this. It's as tough as any major, in my opinion. I mean, 30,000 up top, runner up gets 12, semifinalists guaranteed 6,000. But boy, I'll tell you, this field has been like incredible. When I went to the brackets, I was stunned at all the players at this event.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, besides all the Taipei players out there, Taipei and the Philippines obviously pretty near for this event, so a lot of them joined the tournament. Some Vietnamese running deep. And then some real big world hitters. I mean, Naoki Oi is also still in the tournament. He got to the final of the European Open. So there's definitely great players. Wu Kun Lin always seems to get deep in these events. So it will be difficult to pick a winner.
Well, on that topic, who do you like to win the tournament?
Well, I have to say, FSR is looking as comfortable as I've maybe ever seen. I mean, Michael just took his time out, and FSR was on the side just chatting, laughing. It was like a practice session. So that kind of makes me go into FSR, but Copigny also a strong favorite.
I can't disagree, though. I cover FSR all the time, and he really, really does look good. Now, as soon as we say that, BAOANAN takes a strategic break, and then FSR comes up dry on the break.
Yeah, the big question is, does that one ball go by the 7? I do believe it does, so we're going to get to see BAOANAN in action. Has been a while. He's missed the 5 ball in the opening rack. Can he redeem? Yeah, good point by pro level AVG actually. The fact that Copigny and FSR are on the other side of the bracket from each other. So I would say that's definitely a potential final. But you never know. There's still a couple interesting names, as I mentioned. Naoki Oi, Ronel Nalaunen, who beat Starboy earlier. AJ Manus, 10-6. Interesting. Ivan Maluto played a real strong set against Victor Zelinsky yesterday. And another miss, Scott, on the 3 ball.
Yeah, big miss there. Unexpected, to be honest with you. Looked a little funny in the backswing. Copigny leading 4-0 versus Dang Tin Kai. So I don't know. I mean, Ko is so deadly when he's playing. I mean, I think he's always just one of the most consistent players in the world.
Yeah, not the greatest cover there on the 3 ball. Didn't sell out, but definitely the opportunity for Michael to play himself into stroke. Sometimes a couple safeties needed. I mean, he's been in the chair for a bit, so it would be nice to get some table time in.
Fully agree. I mean, he's got the 7 and the 9 for cover. Can he avoid the 5 with the 3? Just try and lay up to the right side of the table here. What's he considering? Taking it on? Going into the potential 7?
Oh, that would be aggressive, but it's a play.
I like the kick.
Oh, well, he's made it.
Yeah, he hit it bad. He got it way too thin. That's what he needed.
Yeah, that might get him going. Yeah, that could be a huge roll. But the main thing is he really needs to get the job done once. I feel like when he gets that opening rack for him, just like all the players, whenever they get that confidence back, they run out, they get to break the balls. That's where slowly that rhythm is coming, and suddenly you're 5 each. So this is important to clear those 4 balls.
Yeah, he's known to have a real long bridge. That's one thing I've remembered about him. I think that's one of the reasons the 3 ball was missed. I mean, it's typically common for most of these elite players to have a long bridge. A lot of them are more compact. FSR is compact to the cue ball. I think when the pressure's on, that long bridge is pretty dangerous. A little short here, right, Tim? I mean, it's missable. He's never supposed to, but it's a big shot for him to get on the board.
Well, under the gun needs to make this actually. But indeed, we have seen those missed, especially with the 4-inch. You cannot take anything for granted on these tables. Super tight pockets, always a danger.
Yeah, after a really intelligent break, as you touched on, at 5-0 down, he's on the board, and can it change things up? He's got a lot of work to do, trailing by 4 after 6 games.
Yeah, I think it will be all about the break, though, a bit for him. I mean, we have seen packages in the big events, in the majors. Definitely a lot of Filipino players actually coming to play WNT and starting to run 4s, 5s. So I'm not even doubting the skill. It's just all about whether the balls are moving for him or against him. Ooh.
Yeah, I believe he got the kiss, Tim. I know it was a little thin as well. That's why the one caught the front part of that knuckle.
Yes, indeed. So the momentum completely changes over to the Spaniards, his side. And I mean, not too much actually to worry about. Maybe to get from the green 6 to the 8 ball in the bottom of the table.
Really soft hands, this guy. Look how compact he is to the cue ball, but he gets the maximum out of it. His pace is slowed down a little bit, though. And you've got to wonder, is that just throwing air to caution, or did it accidentally slow due to the break that was taken by BAOANAN? Didn't want to finish on the rail there. So, like you said, Tim, maybe the 6 to the 8's a challenge now.
Well, the good news is the angle on the 5 is going to pop him out to the center of the table, but he will have to use a bigger stroke to run the cue ball 3 rails back down table. And how often do we see someone getting straight on the 8?
I think he wanted to be closer like this. There's nothing wrong with it. Don't want to be over the 9, but you could draw out of this 1-2 to the right lower long rail.
Oh, that's what he's playing. Just get the cue ball off the cushion. Second rail usually does take a lot of speed of the cue ball. Slows it down. But he does have a quite decent angle on the 8. I mean, it's not the most comfortable to bring the cue ball close to the 9, but definitely will be away from the cushion on the 9 ball.
Well, he's feeling pretty comfortable. He put inside on it without a problem. Got the 8 very clean. In game number 7, FSR with a commanding lead, 6 games to 1.
Yeah, it is an interesting comment though. The fact that indeed FSR playing a bit slower compared to before Michael took his break. Definitely did get the job done. Could be also the strategy to say, hey, the first game I want to take a little bit more time, get the job done, and then I can start to run around the table a bit more. But I think it's always risky if you're playing well, you get that loose style, and now suddenly you're tightening up. Bit scary on the stroke.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what you just said. I think that's probably about it. He was conscious about the slowdown and just wanted to get through that rack. Potentially speed up as it goes. He's got to get a look here off the break. Been successful with the one.
Oh, wow. Well, his break is just, I mean, I don't think you can get any better results than he's had this match. He's making the one ball consistently, but the two ball also just opening up so nicely. Bit more distance though on the two ball. This is definitely missable.
Yeah, I fully agree. I think he's putting a little bit more power into the break than he used to. I think he went through a period where he was taking some speed off, maybe a bit apprehensive. But notice the spreads he's getting, like you just touched on with the two. The spreads he's getting, the balls are wide open. There's no clusters. If he continues to break like this, he'll be tough to beat. He's got one long ball to come with. Everything else should be history. I guess the 6 is a little tricky. Does he want to catch a piece in the 9 here? That's what I expected.
Well, that also shows how comfortable he is at the table, leaving himself long on the 4. Honestly, this is one of the shots that I'm not a big fan of on this 4-inch buckets. To follow this with left spin, going 2 cushions, or the draw. I mean, both of them are quite forceful shots.
Yeah, I agree. If he draws it, it's easy to pinch it. He hit it clean. How good is he hitting it? Yeah, and really the speed at which he hit the 5 there. The pocket was kind of always going to accept the ball. He didn't try to overpower it and get too close to his work.
Well, he looked a little bit like a diesel after the break, but he's back in that very comfortable rhythm where I'm not sure if he's stoppable in this match. I mean, he just keeps going. Distance now 6 games and still breaking.
Yeah, if I wasn't watching this match, maybe watching Copigny, I'd probably have to tip my hat to Co. But what I've watched from FSR yesterday, coming back on Alcade, trailing 4-0, and now what I'm seeing here, it's very reminiscent of what he did yesterday, and I believe it's his time. It could be his time anyway if he continues to break this way. Yeah, there's no question with the 1, and look at the spreads he's getting. He might not have a great look at the 2, but I think it's choppable.
Oh, I don't know about that one. This is challenging, and also, how is he gonna get on the 3 ball?
Yeah, he could use the 6, right, and just bank it down 1-2, maybe behind the 5. But I think he could come 1, 2, 3, 4. It's that thin around the 5. He's close to the 2, and that's why I'm meaning it is choppable, meaning he can cut it to the lower left. Really just a center inside, but he's a tactical player as well. The 6 is
Oh, I like what he's playing here. He's actually banking the 2 ball to make it a two-way shot, cue ball
and
behind the
getting up on
6.
the 3. Okay.
Yeah, well, he might actually have a shot on the 3 ball to the top left.
I feel like that's a little dangerous. I mean, he's leading 7 games to 1, so I like the shot. It's a two-way play. No, he's playing safe. No, he is going at it. I can't tell from this angle.
Well, a
Think
bit
he
of a
played safe.
two-way, I think. I mean, it's difficult to say if he actually went for it, yes or no, but he's missed it on the proper side.
Yeah, kept him off the jump. High cue ball. This cue ball could arc off the 2 and scratch. It can happen. He hits it with enough speed. I wouldn't mind kind of digging down on this just a touch and trying to scramble something.
Well, is he looking for a full contact or is he looking to slice the 2 ball very thin?
Yeah, I feel like that's dangerous.
Now the question is, how much of the ball can he see? Will he be able to play a bank? I don't think. Well, it's close though, the bank. Would you consider maybe tucking the cue ball above the 7 and banking the 2 into the 9? Like, I
It's
mean,
not the worst. I don't hate it by any means. He doesn't have a lot. I like this. He's assured the safety, most likely. Just played it long. I personally think he's played both of those last 2 banks long intentionally.
yeah, a little bit deceiving for us at times, but indeed was able to bank it wide. He's putting BAOANAN to the spot. And things are just really not going for BAOANAN. One big shot though, I mean, these are absolutely probably the most difficult shots you can play on the 4-inch. Playing this and drawing back, not maximum stroke, but a bit in between. But it's a shot, and I'm sure he's going.
Yeah, you can pinch this into the right long rail. Typically, if they miss it, just try not to overpower this or overdraw it. Oh, wow. Really good signs for FSR.
Yeah, he's coming up with the clutch shots there. And look at this. Perfect on the 3 ball. Gives a natural angle on the 4. What else is there to do?
He's falling perfect. Smooth it in. Everything's going in clean.
Well, you would definitely say Christmas has done him well. Practicing on his own table back home. Quite sure it's a 4-inch as well. And now reaping the rewards. Yeah, so we do have FSR now. 7 games up. In this race to 11 World 9-Ball Tour format.
Yeah, 3 away. Pretty convincing so far. I believe Michael was trailing yesterday. I'm trying to find him in the bracket. I can't remember who he played, but he was trailing pretty heavily. Made a great comeback, but he wasn't trailing 8-1.
Oh, yeah, that's the risk with the cue ball getting past the side. Long distance and a possible scratch. So first, big mistake in a long while.
Yeah, and I think, Tim, that FSR is actually intentionally trying to get the cue ball higher. That's something a lot of these guys have started to do. They recognize that you get a little bit better of an open table or a better shot at the oncoming ball that way versus going 2 rails towards the 9 or 1 rail towards the 9 oftentimes. 5 is the 4 is a problem. Does it pass the 7?
Well, I wouldn't put my money on it. I think 7 might be blocking it just to where it's quite full. I mean, hit the jaws and it stays up. Oh, put a lot into that.
Yeah, big stroke. That long bridge gets a lot out of the cue ball.
Well, he's got to shoot to the top right, but not everybody's favorite shot to cut this, and still has to maneuver the cue ball probably with stun left, 2 rails in between the 6 and the 9.
Yeah, definitely. It is pretty thin. I think it's even thinner than it looks to us.
Well, if it wasn't for the score, I might be thinking about rolling up on the 7, but 8-1, you kind of got to go. Oh.
He used an inside ball there versus the kill shot with the check side with the low left. Nothing wrong with it. Took a little chance there behind the green.
Oh, that's a bit pacey. Still on the cut. You can see he's definitely looking for anything of a feeling for the table, for the cushions, the speed.
Yeah, I think that, his cue ball might not be his strong suit. He's definitely a shot maker. He's young, full of talent. His cueing really reminds me, and I just don't know who it's reminding me of, but I felt this way at the U.S. Open, and I couldn't figure out what player he just really reminds me of. If you just take the body away and look at the cueing, the top player that he's very similar to, and I just haven't figured it out yet.
Boosty?
No, I don't think it's Boosty. Is it Beato or just the way he goes at the cue ball? I can't quite remember or figure it out.
Yeah.
No, he's within 6.
Well, interesting question. I had someone ask me, I think it was yesterday actually. Someone asked me, what's the biggest comeback you've ever made? And I was like thinking back, I'm like, I don't know. I've made many, but the biggest? Like, well, it's a difficult question. So That's why I'm asking you, what's the biggest comeback you've ever made?
That's funny. Yeah, I don't really know. It's a good question because there's so many variables and scores and races. I just don't know. I mean, gambling a little different story. Um, I was 7 down playing 8 ahead for 50,000, and I come back and won. But it took 30 hours. That's a whole different story. In a tournament, I couldn't even tell you.
There's also so many matches. I mean,
Right.
every match has its own story, and it's a tough one.
I've lost more than I've won. I can promise you that.
Now, making the one on the break, but indeed, this is the scenario which happens quite often. Players catching the bottom of the 9 and then getting the distance and not feeling like the table is giving them anything, but it's more of a cue ball problem, I feel like. Someone in the chat mentioning, I see a bit of Dennis or Coolio in Michael.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, Dennis Orcolo's definitely got a little bit of this style. What a shot maker Dennis is, and what he did in the States for about 5 years, I've never seen anybody do. So I can see a little bit of that for sure.
Well, push out has been played. Let's see. FSR has the option to either give it back or play it himself, but I feel like he will always have to take this on, right? Overcut the 2 ball.
Exactly. Yeah, that's always your thought process. Only goes wrong if you catch it thick. And I believe the carom is on. Table on the purple. No, excuse me. Is that the 5 nearest the purple? So, yeah, you've just got to take this on. The 3 is readily available. All right. He's tactically sound and smart, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting him actually to bank this to the center of the table, more of like an overcut if he would play safe. But this definitely forces Michael in a bit more trouble with the 2 ball being right in the center of the table, more difficult to get a precise hit. Oh.
He's not going to like this, I don't believe. Yeah, finished awkward.
Oh. Well, a little bit of a baby roll there. Not gonna say it's the biggest, but I don't think this cut is on.
Yeah, what a tricky position here, especially length of the table with fresh cloth. I mean, I don't know how worn in this cloth is, but judging the outside spin, if he decides to spin, it's near impossible. You're kind of guessing at that point. Can he bank it up, out, and away, and just use the 7? Maybe tuck up behind the 7, 1, 2. Use
Yeah.
the 8 and 9 as back doors.
Maybe with a bit of top spin, indeed, to curl the cue ball, to arc it a bit. Needs the cue ball to go. No, it's not there.
Yeah, is he on? You think he's got a shot here, huh?
Well, especially with FSR. Well, after that facial expression, you would say it's on.
Yeah, okay. I thought he might have got a favorable rub off the 3, but clearly has a look. He's got to kill this ball. This is something the Filipinos have always been great at, the long drag stroke, an extreme inside ball.
Yeah, very interesting how he actually approaches the cue ball at first. When he goes down, the cue goes real long to the cue ball and then short strokes. Interesting style, that's for sure. I would say more difficult to judge the pace, and that's exactly what's happened to this 6 ball. You can see he's disgusted by it.
Yeah, he's always kind of had that style where the cue ball's second, pocketing the ball is always number one for him. And I think that has something to do though with that longer bridge, right? You're going to gain more cue ball control if you get just a little bit more compact. I'm not talking about having to move it 8-10 inches, but maybe 3 or 4. Nice recovery.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of players out there that are making these kind of shots. They just feel like they don't need the cue ball to be that precise. They can make the ball anyways. So I think there's two sides of the coin on this.
Yeah, over time though, having to come with that longer ball over and over and over will get a little bit draining.
Yeah.
But when you're young, it doesn't affect you near as much. For instance, Jason Shaw, he's really tightened up his cue ball over the years as he's matured. And Joshua Filler in the last 2.5 years has really, really tightened his cue ball up and his tactical side.
Yeah, it's actually funny you mentioned Joshua Filler. Indeed, I played him many years ago, like 7-8 years ago. We were playing 8-ball on the big table, and it was unreal. It was all about the break between us, but every time he just ran out and he apologized like twice a rack, maybe 3 times. Like the cue ball was flying all over the place. He couldn't miss. He was banking, cutting
Yeah.
balls from everywhere. And I mean, it was a pure show. And he just apologized. He said, well, I lost the cue ball again. Oh, this cushion. It just, no speed, no shape, but he kept shooting. Well, you don't really get to see that now. He's really matured a lot. A little bit of momentum going for Michael. 8-3 now.
Sorry, Tim. I agree. He's breaking from the opposite side as FSR. And I've noticed he's come short here with the 1 a couple of times in the exact same spot. The adjustment just hasn't been there. And look at the layout. There's clusters. The balls are all kind of tied together versus FSRs. You're going to need to change something if you want to get back in this match.
Yeah, maybe just slightly hitting the brake thin the one time and a little thicker the other time. Just no real consistent hit on the brake. Guessing in the cue ball. Look at this 1 ball just to get to the 2 ball, possibly. Could play shape for a safety on the 2. Unless he gets... Oh, he might take a swing at this side pocket.
Yeah, and just use the 9 as a backdoor safety. These sides, if he has that angle, I can't quite tell, but the side pockets here on the Rassens, extremely unforgiving. He's so close.
Well, that's the living proof. Good call. Definitely played that with the element of safety.
Sure seems like Michael's been doing a lot of kicking when he does have an opportunity. I like the way he played this. Very classy. Very classy. –
Yeah, probably the only side of the 2-ball he was able to hit. But indeed, he got close to get it perfect, though. I mean, there's a slight edge for FSR. But indeed, very creative way to play it. Oh, and this might... Oh, he still has the window, but I was going to say this might really nestle up behind the 7 or the 6. Any bump.
Yeah, still a real tough position now, right? Like real tough. I'd almost consider looking at the 5. Where's he going to go here? Can you get up behind the 8?
Yeah, I think so, but the 2-ball is quite in the open.
He could get behind the 8. Not the worst.
Yeah, but I kind of feel like you have to shoot. If you do not make the 2, you've got 4 balls possibly to cover the 2-ball. If you make it, you're on the 3-ball. You don't have to play any spin. You don't have to shoot.
Just feather it. Gonna leave something.
Ooh. Yeah.
Look how quick he's down. Sorry, Tim. He was down quick. I was wondering if he was going to pull the trigger there. Going to the lower right corner. This will test the nerve and the backhand. Once again, if it's missed, it's going to be to the right long rail, most likely.
Oh. Well, we haven't seen the best yet from Michael BAOANAN, but that was a beautiful cue action. Looks a little bit odd, but it was as straight as it could be.
He's a shot maker. It's impressive some of the shots he can come with. Cue ball's just suffering from time to time. I believe with age that will change, but I do think his longer bridge really gets him in trouble at times.
Yeah, just a bit of traveling from the 5 back up table for the 6, and then from the 7 back down table for the 8. But slowly starting to get the feeling that BAOANAN is coming back into the set, or at least to where the nerves might get to FSR a little bit. You know, just get at least within that range of a couple games.
Yeah, just don't get lazy here. Want to get closer to the 8 than further. Yeah, big awkward stretch. He's fine because he's used to that longer bridge, so shouldn't be an issue. Still kind of in that safe zone, Tim, right? And FSR's 3 away. It's typically, obviously, once they get 2 away, you really start to feel the pressure. But as long as FSR's 3 away from winning the match, you can breathe a little bit if you're BAOANAN. Just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I do definitely agree. And an interesting comment once again in the chat saying Francisco should take a break here. And you could see him trying to warm up his hands. He was trying to stay warm. I don't really mind. I mean, 8-4 might be a good moment. Maybe 8-5, a better one.
Yeah, I don't mind it either, though. I think it wouldn't be a bad time to take a break.
Now, Michael's biggest problem has been the break. Will he be able to get something going? A bit inconsistent left and right. Catching the right spot on the one.
It's just thin. That's how the cue ball ends up so low. This is reminiscent over and over, just too thin. I'm pretty certain he caught a kiss low, but the cue ball should never end up that low to begin with to catch the kiss. And the mess that FSR is left to deal with is for real.
Yeah, the only good news I could probably have for Michael is the fact that hitting it that low, the spread is not as good. So a bit of a messy layout if you look at the 5 and the 8 cluster. Possibly already the 1 to the 2 ball is quite a tester on the pace.
Playing the 7. I don't know about that. I don't know what your opinion is, but now to get to the 2 is much more difficult. I believe the 1 played past the 7, so I'm a bit surprised at that decision.
Well, maybe he was looking at opening up the corner, or maybe the 6 didn't go by the 7, but
It
indeed,
did.
I think this is a lot worse than he had. Well, he was able to still cheat the pocket a bit to create angle, but this is where he's lost the cue ball. Now I'm definitely playing the cue ball above the 5-8. I'm not gonna cut something, do something wild here.
Absolutely. Just lock him down below the 5 and 8. Unless it's thicker than we think, I feel like you can feather the 2 from anywhere to get him down there. I mean, that's a huge target, a big old pocket to get in behind there, the 5 and 8. Maybe the 8's a little closer to the rail and he feels comfortable with, but he's not going to play it. He's going at the 2.
Is he banking the 2 off the 4? No, he's cutting this. Wow. Oh, he's still on the 3 ball. His run continues, but I mean, maybe I'm just too shy to shoot, but that was maybe a bit much for me.
Yeah, I guess his thought process there is there's still work to be done. If he lands on the 3, maybe the 4 leads him to the 5 some way, somehow. So can't fault him. I loved your decision as well. Now he's thin, so he can track into these balls if he'd like. I don't think the carom is on. Just got to gamble a little bit here.
Yeah, I don't mind running into the 5-8. Definitely play with maybe like a 70% speed, 70-80%. Not play it too slow. You don't want to hook yourself behind the 8, so at least get the balls to spread. Oh, you see it soft. Did this end up for a cut?
Yeah, maybe the overhead here.
I
Yeah,
think
he
it
can
does
swerve
cut.
this.
Yeah.
This is his forte. He's very good in small distances, bending the cue ball.
Wow, that's quite the run out, actually. If you consider it was up 8-1, Michael slowly coming back, and a very scrappy layout after the scratch on the break from BAOANAN. Does now bring FSR within that 2-game range.
Yeah, and more credit to FSR, right? He didn't take a break there after a 3-game streak from BAOANAN, and he just looks as comfortable as he's always looked.
Yeah, that also tells me the fact that he just never worried You know, he never just looked at the
Exactly.
score line and said, "Hey, I need to hit the brakes." You know, so that's a bunch of confidence there too.
Yeah, and he is within 2. This will get him into the quarterfinals. If he can manage to win this match. And breaking from the same spot the last 2 matches he's played. You can see why. The spreads are incredible. I don't remember him missing the 1. I think is he 100% so far in this match with the 1, Tim? Or has he missed it once?
I think he might have missed it once, but I think he missed it once actually, and then it fluked over the side pocket point in the opposite middle. But here we go again. Look at this. Makes the 1, shape on the 2. Now it's not the easiest run out with all the balls on the same side, blocking each other maybe a bit, but
Yeah, not necessarily the worst though either though, right? The 3 leads to the 4, the 4 leads to the 5. You just got to get short side on the 7. You can use the 6 to do that, and at worst you can play the 7-8 combination. It's not the worst layout. This opener is a dream.
yes, indeed. Now we do have our first semi-finalist, Ko Ping-yi, beating Deng Than-Kien 11-1.
You know, he can move the 7 towards the upper left corner as well if he ends up getting a little steeper on the 5, but I don't think he needs to mess with that, right? Stay where he is now, somewhere center table. Just try to get straight on the 6. You can get short side on the 7. You can afford that. Looking at the 7-8 combination as well, I think. Yeah, this is good. He is comfortable. I mean, he took no time down there.
Well, it looked like he was going to give himself a bit more angle on the 6 ball. No, still held it. Think he's landed a bit funny though. Slight angle to the left.
Yeah, he might have to actually be forced to play the combination or draw back to the 7. He's got that awkward line. Combination time. I don't like the combination though, Tim. The problem is, right, is the 7 could drop down towards the 9.
Yeah,
it's not easy.
You will have to put the cue ball also in a little bit of an angle to where you can stun the cue ball with the 7, but usually when you start to do that kind of stuff on this difficult equipment, you see a lot of top pros making mistakes on this kind of shots.
Yeah, I think the angle might be a bit steeper than we even know. But if he feels like he can hold the 7, he'll definitely go at it. It's clearly that he's going to go at it. Just going to float this in, swing the cue ball 1-2 with a high ball. Oh, he stunned it. So he was aware of the 7 going way down. Pretty good.
A little bit of a funny look there to the side. I'm not too sure what exactly happened. But it looks like we're going to see the Ferrari on the hill in this race to 11. Tough times for BAOANAN. Just can catch a break. Literally, actually, the break probably his weakest skill so far in this match.
Yeah, just very inconsistent with the hit. Has not been successful with the one since he started this match.
Yeah, so this will be the last time we get to see FSR breaking. Now, does he get something on the one? I don't think so. So, as you can see, he's looking to push.
Yeah, this guy picks his push positions very well. Not a fun position for BAOANAN to be in by any means.
Yeah, actually wondering if I would take this push out. If you look at the cue ball so far away, this is a thin cut. The only shot I would like to play is probably the overcut.
Yeah, just chip it between the 7 and the 2. Come down and use that wall, the 3, 5, 9, maybe even the 6.
Oh, don't think he was actually trying to make that. That bump on the 3 ball. A bit of a fortunate roll to stay on the 2. So stable now available actually for the run out. Just one more shot on this 2 ball.
Yeah, did you see FSR's face in the background? He was a little sickened by it. Luck is part of the game. No, he's butchered it. He's absolutely butchered it. I think he can draw off the 7 here. There's just something I see in BAOANAN's stroke that concerns me from time to time. I mean, obviously, I've kind of harped on the long bridge, but what's he going forward?
Oh, he was able to miss the 7 ball. He's in prime shape now. This is for a place in the semifinal.
Yeah, it is the semis, isn't it?
Ooh.
I don't know what's going to stop him, Tim. He looks real slick to me. The shoulder lunge. Anytime he swerves the cue ball or digs, it's kind of implemented into his game. And it definitely works for him. It was fun, Tim. Thank you for having me on. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, what a match we just experienced. FSR just on a tear. For having me as well. A pleasure as always, but this 9 ball to seal the deal and to get to the semifinals that will be played later today.
And he's finished on the rail. He's got to make one decent shot here. No problemo.
Ooh, he thought he missed it, but it did drop. So it is Francisco Sanchez Ruiz who advances to the semifinal. Fortunately for Michael, his road is over, but played a great tournament, of course. Great player. So thanks, Scott, for being here with me. And thanks to EvoSports for another great streaming, great tournament. And let's see later today who will win the title of the 4th Universal Chinese Taipei Open.
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
everyone, for tuning in. See ya.